Hello, North Lafayette staff. This is our second semester building staff capacity training. This training is about powerful partnerships and removing the barriers so we can maintain those partnerships with our families. This is our agenda for today. Today we are going to discuss ways to break down and overcome barriers to strengthen family-school partnerships. At the end, I will be sending out a Google form to sign in and to provide feedback. I would really appreciate it if you guys would do that for me. What is the purpose of this training? Well, the purpose of this building staff capacity meeting is to meet the needs of the parent and family population that we serve by discussing those barriers that prevent or hinder parent and family engagement. Here are a couple questions to be thinking about while we continue going over this presentation. What do you believe are the benefits of school-parent partnerships? Do you believe that student achievement is a shared responsibility? These questions will also be asked on the feedback form at the end. What are the benefits of partnership for parents, teachers, and staff? For parents, they will gain greater knowledge of education programs and how school works. They will gain knowledge of how to be more supportive of their children. They will gain greater confidence about ways to help their child learn and have a more positive view of teachers and greater empowerment. Teachers will have greater teaching effectiveness, higher expectations of students, increased ability to understand family views and cultures. They will have greater appreciation of parent volunteers and improved morale.
The first version of the Dual Capacity Building Framework for Family School Partnership was launched at the 2014 Family and Community Engagement Conference held by the Institute for Educational Leadership. This research-based framework was authored in collaboration with the United States Department of Education and published by the Southwest Educational Development Lab. The framework was created to offer a tool for educators, policymakers, families, and community members to understand what's needed to cultivate and sustain partnerships between home and school that support student achievement and school improvement. Since 2014, I've gathered information from current research and from stakeholders about what was useful and what improvements were needed to the framework. Stakeholders suggested that they wanted the new framework to reflect a sense of growth and improvement, and that educators and families come together by building the capacity of each side to work in deeper partnership. Second, the framework needed to more clearly articulate the challenges that got in the way of partnership between families and educators. For example, the new framework points out that many educators have not been exposed to excellent practice, and that's often because they simply haven't received any training in this area. Many families haven't been exposed to excellent practice either, and many have had negative experiences in school, both when they were children and as adults. The way forward starts with the essential conditions, which includes both the process and organizational conditions. These are the nuts and bolts that are a part of any effective family and community engagement practice. The process conditions describe the key components of effective practice to build partnership, and the organizational conditions describe the systems and structures, in other words, the infrastructure needed to support and sustain partnership. One thing that the field stated loud and clear is that all partnerships have to start with trust. We know from the research of Tony Bragg and Barbara Schneider how important relational trust between families and educators is to the effective functioning of a school and to the building of dependable partnerships among the adults. So this was moved to the top of the list in the process conditions. The organizational conditions set the table for the effective execution of the process conditions. The next section highlights the type of growth we should see when all the essential conditions are met. These 4 C's are based on research from my colleague Monica Higgins. We all hear that term capacity building, but what does it actually mean? We know it's important for both sides to improve their knowledge and skills to engage in partnership. But Monica informs us that that's not the only element of capacity building that's important. Who you know, who you can turn to for information, is also an important part of capacity. We have research that reveals that our beliefs and values shift in positive ways as a result of working with others. Last but not least, the confidence of our families and educators to be able to do this work of partnership grows. And finally, in this last section, we see what happens when educators and families build their capacity to work in partnership with each other. We now have a reciprocal exchange that speaks to the power of both families and educators to support each other's continued growth. Educators connect family engagement to their day-to-day work with students and see families as contributors to their children's education. Families engage in various ways that make a big difference for their children's learning. And at the end of the day, we're able to see that this work truly helps us get to the outcome we're all striving for: more effective partnerships that support student and school improvement.
Before we can reap the benefits of a powerful school-family partnership, we must address ways to remove barriers that hinder effective parent-school partnerships, opportunities to engaging school personnel and teachers in building activities that promote effective parent-school partnerships, and strategies to support successful school and family interactions. Here are some common barriers in schools. Parents who believe they do not have the ability to help their child do better in school. Parents who do not feel that the school invites, welcomes, or encourages their involvement. Schools that do not provide practical advice to parents about what they can do to help their child learn. Schools that fail to alert parents as soon as a child begins to have problems. Lack of true, two-way, respectful partnership communication between parents and school personnel. Parents who feel intimidated by the school and teachers, and other school staff who feel intimidated by parents. What can we do as a school to remove or prevent the barriers above? What are some other barriers that may hinder effective school-family partnerships? Engaging school personnel and teachers. Research shows that effective parent and family engagement is critical to student achievement. Parent and family engagement is not just an add-on or a means for school fundraising. Instead, it is a lever to move student achievement levels and support school improvement. When planned well, parent and family engagement is centered on connecting families to student learning by sharing data, providing strategies to support learning at home, and providing opportunities for two-way communication and help schools to achieve school goals. What fundamental skills do our students lack that we can address through parent and family engagement workshops? Strategies to support successful school and family interactions. What strategies do we have in place to support school and family interactions? What can we do to enhance these strategies? What can we do to ensure full opportunities for participation of parents with limited English proficiency, parents with disabilities, and parents of migratory children? What new strategies do we need to implement to support our parents and families? As teachers and school leaders, we have a responsibility to shake out the notion of what traditional parent engagement looks like. We need to be creative and persistent. Thank you for your time and participation today. I will be sending out the feedback form and the sign-in sheet. If you could please take the time to fill those out for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Please feel free to email me with any other questions I can help you with.